Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Cosmic Knowledge channel. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, very honored by your presence, and I hope that I've got some information for you here this evening that you're going to think is worth your time. You're going to think is worth your stopping by. So thanks for being here. Thanks for checking us out. We're here to help you broaden those borders, pulverize those paradigms, expand those envelopes, and go places that you've never gone before in your spirituality, in your in your concepts even of spiritual things. And I'm very glad to have you here with me tonight. Etheric Essentials, that's a great name. Jerry Runk always makes me think of Jerry Funk. T.L. Clark, awesomeness, those all go together. Nice to see all of you here. And I waxed a little a little philosophical, if you will. I will be Karen Cervantes. Has it been a minute since I've seen you? I will be 55 years old. Hello in Atlanta, Georgia. Jerry Runk is drunk. Can you reset and miss us 2 minutes of show? Haha. Excellent. So I turned 55 this month. And I remember when 55 was really, really old. And right now, about to be 55, I feel really, really young. I mean, I can go into most places and get a senior's discount. So I'm going to be 55 on the 23rd of May. And I find myself thinking a little bit. I find myself reviewing a little bit. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And I realized that one of the greatest gifts that you can give to yourself is the ability to remain teachable. Even though you're 55 or 65 or 75 or 85 or 95 and 100 or 105. Thank you for saying I've never looked better. And I have to give a lot of that credit to Jay Campbell, Decoders of Truth. Jay Campbell, I think he's called Testosterone Optimization Therapy. You've seen Jay on the channel. I'm trying to get Jay back on the channel, but he's super busy. And he's really helped me. And his partner, Jim Brown, not his partner. He's married to a beautiful woman. And I think Jim is too, but they're partners in business. I'm just playing a little bit. And they've really helped me with crafting my workouts, crafting my nutrition. And Jay is always about do more cardio. And Jay will be happy to know that today I rode my bike to the beach, rode my bike to the bridge, sprinted the bridge, had a great workout. But anyway, it's important to remain teachable. It's important to remain in a place where you can learn and you can grow and you can develop. And over the years, even over the past 7 years, I've done a lot of growing and learning and developing. I mean, I started this work about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I can't remember exactly when, probably closer to 7. And it was New Covenant Kabbalah. Then, of course, New Cosmic Knowledge. Then, of course, the Christian Whistleblower. And, of course, New Cosmic Knowledge still. And it's important to know. And it's important to remain teachable and open. And that's what brings me tonight to talk a little bit about the teachings of the Master, or the message of the Master. And just who is this Master that we're talking about? And this is some growth and development, I think, on my part, and my desire to be accurate, and my desire to be faithful to the text that I have invested 100,000 hours plus of study in, and now 36 years of very dutiful inquiry. I remember back at the beginning of this 7 years ago, I used to talk a lot about Jesus. A lot of you still talk a lot about Jesus. You still revere and love and use and trust the name of Jesus. I began to believe that we are better using the name Yeshua. Hello in Thailand. Thank you for joining me. And then I started saying we should use the name of the Christ. And I'm at the point now where I'm thinking that the Christ isn't even right. Well, Jeff, why wouldn't you call him the Christ? Well, my first clue was when I started looking at what the apostles, the 12 people that walked with him. That's very humbling. Thank you for that. The 12 people that walked with him, really 13 if you count Mary Magdalene, if they were all real, if they all did live and walk and breathe. I'll take the title wizard. Thank you. What did they call him? They didn't call him Jesus. They didn't call him the Christ, except maybe one time Peter, and that's a highly debated usage anyway. But what they called him was simply teacher or master. Personally, I think master was and they call him not actually rabbi, but Rabboni, which means master. So I think they actually called him master. And when you sit back and think, I feel very comfortable and very confident in addressing him as master. Or even if he wasn't real, which, we go through this every now and then, but I have a deep conviction based on deep conviction. I know you were, Beth. I have a deep conviction based on deep conviction that he did live. He did come and walk the earth, that he visited Jerusalem for those 3.5 years, and he went to other places across the globe. V. Luther, you're right on my train of thought, and I'll be there in a second. And I think he did come, but there's not a shred of empirical evidence. There's not a shred of objective, extra biblical evidence that he ever did walk the earth. And maybe that's the way he wanted it. Because he said he was looking for those that had eyes to see and ears to hear. He wasn't just looking for everybody. So it's not out of the ordinary or extraordinary that he would not have sought to be known, that he would not have sought to have exerted himself upon history. But I mean, come on, if the miraculous birth was true, somebody would have written it down. If the show trial was true, somebody would have written it down. If the crucifixion were true, somebody would have written it down. If the resurrection were true, somebody would have written it down. But nobody did. Biblically, and even biblically, they didn't do it for 200-300 years. And Christians didn't start talking about these things for 200 or 300 years after they supposedly happened. So anyway, I think it's best to call him the master. And not in like a master slave, master servant, master, what's that called in the whole 50 Shades of Grey thing, master and submissive, not in that way, but in the way of the martial arts. You know that I have 2 black belts, and you call your teacher Sifu, as someone mentioned earlier, or master. And I think that I am very, very comfortable calling him the master. And I think that's the way I'm going to go from now on. So when I talk about the message of the master, or we talk about the original teachings of formerly the Christ, we're going to change that to the original teachings of the master. When I look over here, I'm looking at or sensei, right? I'm looking at a whiteboard. But what was the message of the master? What was the message of the master? Honest to a Fault says that he or she has memories of his death, and it wasn't like you think it happened. Very interesting. I know that Rex had some, was it Farsight Institute, some remote viewers that also said he wasn't crucified. Very interesting stuff. So, what was the message of the master? Well, the message of the master was very simple. And there's very few times that he actually codified it. There's very few times they actually said, look, this is my message, but, and Jerry Runk, you're half right. Far-sighted press. His message was pretty simple. He said, love yourself and love your neighbors like you love yourself. But of course, the problem with the way it's presented within the New Testament is he doesn't tell you how to love yourself except in a way that only makes itself available or accessible to those that really seek and dig and look and study. And what he's really saying is, love your neighbor as yourself, because you do love yourself, because you've realized that you're not filled with original sin. You've realized that original sin is a lie crafted by the consortium of Paul, Nero, Caiaphas, and Herod, spread about to keep us in fear and guilt and under a hardcore control matrix. Honest to a fault, I appreciate your input. Please don't try to start preaching your own sermon in the chat room. So his message was simple. And the first part of it is love yourself. How can you love yourself? You love yourself by recognizing the fact that you're not filled with original sin. You love yourself by realizing that you have the spark of divinity within you. That's how you love yourself. By realizing you have the spark of divinity in you. Well, how can I realize that? Well, because the master said that's the condition that you're in. They came to him and they said, listen, we're the religious people. And they said, tell us what the signs of your return are going to be. And he said, fellas, you got it all wrong. There's not going to be any outwardly observable signs. There's not going to be anything you can look at, point at, observe, look at. What about the rapture and the trumps and the vials in the temple? It's all Jesuit bogus garbage. So anyway, he said, none of that's going to happen because the kingdom of God, as Coroner Garland has so aptly, thank you, Michelle. You might have to go ahead and, well, you're doing a good job. And I've lost my train of thought, but you know that you don't have original sin. So that's how you can love yourself. And you can love yourself in spite of your faults because you know you've got the spark of divinity. You can love yourself. Yeah, just go ahead and thank you, Michelle. And you might just have to block that person from this channel. And I don't have any problem if you do that. So you love yourself because you realize that you got the spark of divinity within, not original sin. You love yourself even when you make mistakes because you know you've got divinity within. You love yourself even when you fall a little bit short of the target because you know you've got divinity within. You love yourself even when you're not scoring 100% correct. You continue to love yourself. Despite what the religious people tell you, despite what anybody that wants you to believe that you're a dirty, rotten sinner, run from them like you'd run from a rattlesnake, because if you don't, they'll bite you. Anybody that wants you to believe that you've got to do what they say to avoid a place called hell, run from them like you'd run from a rattlesnake, because if you don't, they're going to bite you. If you find anybody that tells you the only way to get saved, quote unquote, is their way, run from them like you'd run from a rattlesnake, because they will bite you and they're venomous and it'll kill you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it will eventually kill you. Hello in Korea. And Sterling. So that's how you love yourself, because you realize you're not full of sin. You realize you got the spark of divinity within. And because of that, now you're ready to love your neighbor. Oh, I've got the spark of divinity within me. So does she. I've got the spark of divinity within me. So does he. I've got the spark of divinity within me, and so does all ye. We're going to wax biblical. So that changes the way you look at your neighbor. If you believe you've got original sin, and you believe your neighbor's got it, or blood sacrifices, exactly, run from those. If you walk into a church and there's a dead guy on a stick, walk out. If you walk into a church and there's a dead guy stick, walk out. So anyway, and I lost my train of thought again. Doggone it. I'm feeling good, but I'm losing my trains of thought. What was I saying? So, oh yeah, if you think that your neighbor has original sin, you can never trust your neighbor, and you can never really love someone that you can't trust. Ever been in a romantic relationship with someone you can't trust? Hard to love them, isn't it? Have you ever been in a business relationship with someone you can't trust? Can't love them, can you? And that's the way it's supposed to be. It's set up. Not only is original sin, the idea of original sin, set up to steal your joy, not only is original sin set up to keep you in fear, not only is original sin set up to keep you in guilt, not only is original sin set up to keep you from enjoying your life, it's also set up to facilitate, the divide and control paradigm. You can't turn people against their neighbors if they believe that their neighbors have the spark of divinity within, but it's easy to turn people against their neighbors if you think that they've got within them original sin. That's very easy to figure. I remember when I was pastoring, and a guy moved in next door and from the church, and because I was doing the books, I knew that he wasn't tithing. And of course, at that time, we believed that, the great tithing scripture, will a man rob God? How have you robbed me? And the tithes and offerings. And I used to park my lawnmower under this little shed on the side of the house. And when he moved in, I started putting it in the garage. And he's like, I noticed you quit. I noticed you moved your lawnmower inside. Why is that? And I said, well, I figured if you would rob God, you might steal my lawnmower. Of course, that story is evangelistically speaking. Didn't really happen, but it could have. But that's the way we look at people. If we think this thing about original sin, if we believe this thing about original sin, not only does it keep us from being all we can be, it's used to facilitate us preventing our neighbor from being all they can be and from keeping us at each other's throats. The message of the master was simple and easy. 1, love yourself. 2, love your neighbor. And then the third part of the message is very easy. Love the divinity with all your heart, mind, soul, and spirit. And really what he's saying is love yourself, the divinity in you. Love me, the divinity in me, and stop trolling me. Sandra D'Angelo's channel, I want you to subscribe to it. Everybody that subscribes to that channel today, that hasn't subscribed to that channel, and emails me at gothamltd@gmail.com, I'll give you your choice of a free ebook from my catalog if you go and subscribe to Sandra D'Angelo's channel. And you'll be glad that you did. It's an excellent channel. If you want to take advantage of the MYSTECH bands, which are really powerful, go to jeffreydarty.com, click on the MYSTECH logo. We're changing lives. We're changing lives. Okay, Jolly Fresh. Everybody wave bye-bye to Jolly Fresh. Everybody ready? Bye-bye. Well, bye. So anyway, love yourself, love your neighbor, love the divinity, And what else did he say? What else can we say was his message? That was mainly his message, but he had another also basic message. I want my money back for my free gift. His other basic message was, stop doing the dumb things you're doing and start doing better things, because now you've realized the kingdom of God is within you. He said, stop hitting yourself in the hand with the hammer. Put the hammer down. Oh, here we go. What about judging? I've got videos on judging. Study or search them on this channel. You'll see what I think about judging. Interesting. Interesting. So basically his two messages were love your neighbor, love yourself, love your neighbor, and repent, be baptized, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, which was no more blood sacrifice. If you feel like you have to do a ceremony to mark a transition in your life from doing the wrong thing to doing the right thing, use water baptism as that ceremony. Don't do any more blood sacrifice. Thank you, T.L. Clark. And that was really the message of the Christ. It was just that simple. Patty E., thank you so much. I support you, and I salute you as well. Very simple message of the Master. Love yourself, love your neighbor, and realize you don't have original sin. Don't buy into blood sacrifice anymore. And if you feel that you need a ceremony to mark a milestone, that's fine. That's good. Use water baptism. Don't go to the temple and pay people. Don't go to the temple and buy stuff. Don't go to the temple and do all that stuff. This is interesting. Coroner Garland says that I was a troll when I found all of you. You all helped me to wake up and find peace in my life, and now I'm waking others up. Wow. That almost teared me up for a second. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff, why do you give the trolls 3 chances before you kick them out? That's why. Please stop. Please stop. Time out. Banned. That's why I do it. Because of people like Coroner Garland. What am I going to do with all these bloodletting goats, says Power Vapor Supply? Well, you can eat goats. Did Christ say not to have any lords? He said, call no man upon this earth Lord. That's very good. Why should we have masters? But see, I'm not talking about it, John Glenn, and I love this question. See, this is a great example of, hey, I don't have to agree with everything Jeff says. I can ask him questions that are honest and that are on the subject. But why should we call him master? Didn't he say don't be called Lord? Well, number one, because we know that the disciples called him master. But number two, I'm not talking about master in that servant or slave master relationship. I'm talking about the master like a kung fu master or like a Aikido master. I'm talking about it in that sense. One who has mastered the teachings. And there he is, the new cosmic kitten, making an appearance. The new cosmic kitten, the master of Medes, in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Maestro. You could call him Maestro. That makes sense too. So I call him the master. I'm going to be talking about the message of the master. Mr. Alphaster, I'm really trying to get there again. I just didn't feel good when I did it. Talking about vegetarianism. I never felt bad, but I just never felt great. I know vegetarians tell me, well, you're eating the wrong stuff, and carbs are not my friend. And the vegetarian diet does usually include the consumption of a lot of carbs. So, boy, it's just hard for me. And I've had people tell me that I'm a warrior and a warrior needs a meat diet and all that stuff. And wow, I don't know. I don't know. In my heart, I'd love to be a vegetarian. I just don't know if I can do it. It's one of my burdens. It's one of the things that PVS says, yes, it's hard because we're Southern. It's just one of the things that I struggle with on a daily basis. I mean, here's this cat. Come here, Mr. New Cosmic Kitten. I want to use you for an example. Is that all right with you, sir? I want to come over here for just a minute. Come here. Now, I just ate dinner. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I ate, but it was meat-based. And it was not Rooney-based. And if we look at this animal right here, this New Cosmic Kitten, he's cute. He's fluffy. He's furry. So I don't eat him. But if you look at this cat, you could make a few meals out of that cat right there. And what gives that cat the right to be treated like a pussy kitten? And the lamb that I ate tonight, who arguably is just as cute, not get that right. So I struggle with it. I got to tell you, it's difficult for me. I got to tell you, maybe it's just part of this incarnation. I don't know. Sandra eats very little meat. Somebody said, what does Sandra think? Sandra eats very little meat. So when I'm with her, unfortunately, we're a little bit apart right now for the time being. So when I'm with her, I eat much less meat, but she does still eat some meat. And yeah, that's where I am. I know I'm way off the subject, but we're just talking here among friends. So that's what she thinks, TL. Power Vapor Supply recommends some nice veal with a little Chianti. That's funny if you know anything about Silence of the Lambs. Sandra and I just had some fantastic sushi this weekend. Boy, it was good. Mr. Alphaster says he's Italian and all about the meats, probably one of the most undisciplined persons. He did it cold turkey, actually on Thanksgiving, and so far he's still going strong. Shane Stevenson doesn't even eat solid food, mostly water, juice, smoothies, fasts a lot, wondering if it helps his ascension. Some bearded person says meat's for the reptiles. Thank you, Catherine, for saying Sandra and I look so great together. It's hard not to look great standing next to her. You know what some people eat? Bushmeat chimpanzees. Yeah, I've actually seen that done. Maybe it's hard to eat only veggies because the food is being tampered with. That's exactly it, Karen. If we were able to eat with the same, and we're coming up with a fix for that. No, I'm not going to go Alex Jones and give you penis pills. Don't worry. But Robert, who you heard on this channel, is an Ormus manufacturing master. I'm testing out the Ormus that he has made, and he also infuses it with an intention that you give him. And I tell you what, both Sandra and I are on it. Woo! I think we got something, and we can make it for really, really a good, solid price. Dev Star says that they were going to unsubscribe ages ago, but stayed because I was searching and had good intentions. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you for saying we make a good couple. My son went veggie and had a heart attack. Doctor says he needs meat. Wow. Try a witchery grub. Great protein content. They go well with leafy greens. Alphaster eats some eggs, some fish, and seafood. Okay. Now that I probably would be able to do. Oh, Michelle's husband calls me penis pills. He misunderstood the MYSTECH. Although, I'm just saying, we have tremendous numbers of testimonies that the MYSTECH helps keep the pencil sharp if you know what I mean. And I actually was doing a lot of working out today, so I don't have any, what did somebody call them, the bangles. I've just got the regular, actually you'll never see me with only 6 of these on, but today you caught me. So yeah, they're really good for that. And Sandra was so hyped up, she had to take 2 or 3 off so she could sleep, because she's not crazy like Halo and I. She and it's funny, we're talking about and I'm rambling now, but we're talking about Ormus. And I remember back in the day when I don't know if I was against Ormus, but I wasn't for Ormus. And finally, I got enough, maybe got out of my way enough, and hemp I've heard good things about, and found out that I'm not as smart as I thought that I was, and started to study Ormus, and then tried one, and it was like $70 a bottle, bro. $70 a bottle. Whew. And we're going to be able to do it for half that, maybe. And using this Ormus that Robert is cooking up, can you smell what Robert's got cooking? Made from Dead Sea salt, making a big change. So I will keep you up with that. We're doing the final beta testing. I learned that from Halo. With MYSTECH, it gets tested for at least 30 days before it ever gets rolled out. So we're doing the same thing. And we'll get Robert back on the show. I want him to talk about those little geometric things he was making that are super cloud busters. A lot of good stuff going on, ladies and gentlemen. So the message of the master, that's what we're about. That's what we're about. Love yourself. Love your neighbor. Get out of the blood sacrifice business, because that business is not booming. Realize you're filled with original sin. You're not filled with original sin, but you have the spark of divinity within. I just started Tai Chi, Mr. Alphaster. Yes, ghost walk soon. Sorry, I've been busy. I am doing, I've thrown open the door for consultations again. If you want LIFETRACK analysis repairs, if you want entity removals, cleansing, if you just want basic spiritual counseling, if you want past life regressions, all of that stuff. We've thrown the door open again for that. Always thought that if you sped up Tai Chi, you'd be lethal. There actually is a hard form of Tai Chi. Rods, okay, why not? It's been a while since we did rods. Rods, all right. So here's some rods. Let's do some rods questions. Let's do some rods questions. I don't know if you can hear this or not. Hit me with your rods questions, yes or no questions. Please show me yes. Please show me no. Yeah, I'm almost embarrassed to say it, Roy. Taekwondo and kickboxing. Qigong. Will Hillary go to jail? No. Is Teresa Scott on the right path? Yes. Mr. Alphaster says when he gets his rods, he's going to call him Rod Stewart. Oh, yoga's great. Absolutely. Yoga is great. Did the master die on the cross? New Cosmic Kitten, no. Are we close to a plasma event? No, not really. Will Obama be jailed? No. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Is Michelle's baby, her father-in-law, reincarnated? Wow. That's an interesting one. Please don't ask me if your spouse is sleeping with your sister. Oh my. John Glenn, am I on the right path? Yes. Ooh. I can't. Okay. Is some bearded person having a girl? No. There you go. Is some bearded person having a boy? Yes. Will an ascension event happen this year? No, but some good stuff will happen, but not the way they're saying it will happen. Is Karen's grandmother still in the Matrix? No. Will Beth find a job? Yes. I've never seen the Rod's Law yet or get it wrong. I don't need the rods for this, Mary, but is Mary going to win the lottery tomorrow? Sorry. Folks, you know that the lottery is a tax on stupidity, right? Will Trump tell the world about ETs? No. Heidi told me that I would receive, Don says, a family fortune sometime this fall. Will Don receive a family fortune sometime this fall? Wow, not a thing. They don't budge. Is Michelle's mother still alive? Wow, they're not going to budge. That's crazy. I've never seen that happen 2 days in a row. Let me know, some bearded person. Did the master go to India and Tibet? Yes. Will Jason get a pay raise or promoted? Yes, but it might take a minute. Weird. If you're gonna watch this channel, you got to get used to weird. Ooh. Will 5G be stopped? No. Can you channel a person alive but suffering from dementia? That's a great question. That's a great question. Will my granddaughter and her husband get back together soon? I hate to do these. No. I know the answer to that one, Jerry. Do we all love Jeff? TL, you really want to do that to a brother? You really want to do that to a brother? All right. What the heck? I'm game. You've heard what I've said about marriage. I'm your Huckleberry. Will Jeffrey marry Sandra? Oh my. That's a yes. Thanks a lot, TL Clark. Really appreciate that. Wow. Is now a good time to start a vegetable garden for Shane Stevenson? Yep. Will I have a full-time job by next year? Asked Chris Garcia. Yep. No pressure. Yeah, exactly. Thanks. I appreciate that, TL Clark. Somebody ban TL Clark from the channel. I'm kidding. Don't do it. Say when. Say when. Will my family ever accept me? Probably not. No. Will my daughters ever accept me? No. I mean, they accept me, but they'll never, you know. Yeah, can't wait till Sandra sees this. I don't know. Woo! Will I find a job? Asked V. Luther. Yes, you will. Might take a little minute. Is Mary's mom always with her? Yes. Mary, I need to ask you to look inside your heart and see if you want to keep your mom always with you. I know you do, but how does it affect her and her desire for her spiritual growth? And that reminds me, Sandra, who's my daughter, Sandra, who's my sweetheart, and I just did a show last week about spiritual wills. We're working on that. We're going to do seminars on that. We're going to write a book on that. And I want to ask this for Corinner. Is this Corinner's last cycle on Earth? Yes. What was I going to say? Darn it. Oh, tomorrow, 11 a.m. We'll be having the second. I'm going to go ahead and put the rods down. We're going to have the second Serpent and Dove broadcast, and it's going to be about walk-ins. And interestingly enough, folks, Sandra and I don't agree on this. So it's going to be an interesting show. It's like Wayne and I, only Sandra's cuter than Wayne. Because Wayne and I don't always agree. But we always have interesting discussions. And the other difference is I've never kissed Wayne. Let that be on the record. I've never kissed Wayne Steiger, ever. And it's not likely to happen, but, you know, it could happen. There could be, you know, like a bro hug and a kiss on the cheek. That's possible. That's possible, because I do plan to go to Wayne's house, if for no other reason that Wayne lives. I've not seen Wayne in a dress. Wayne lives right by, and people are moving outside. That's the crashing. Wayne lives right by the gravesite of one Doc Holliday. Oh, I have kissed Sandra. Trust me. Trust me. Oh, I'll ask that one, Power Vapor. Julia. In 1917, did the three Spanish kids see the Virgin Mary? No, but watch this. Did those three Spanish kids see something that said it was the Virgin Mary? Boom. Yes. Yes. This is hilarious. You know, sometimes I'll say I'm doing a Wayne Steiger style presentation, and Michelle says, you are doing a Wayne Steiger style presentation, but without the mispronounced words. Oh my, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. And Wayne would even laugh at that. That's funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your attention here tonight. Thank you to the new Cosmic Kitten for his appearance. Thank you to you for your appearance. And I hope that you'll be with us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the Serpent and Dove. They saw a manifestation of probably a deceptive, unbalanced being, would be my input, Mary. Wow. They're moving. And we're moving on. I'll probably be back tonight with some more broadcast excellence. Maybe an appearance by the new Cosmic Kitten. You never know. But until then, folks, and these are more than just catchphrases, do be your own guru. Do guide your own spirit. Do master your own ascension. Do ask questions. Do question answers. You're the Gospel Truth Army. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. I salute you and encourage you to unindoctrinate yourself.